everyone. I just wanted to make a quick update here. I'm 20 months post-taper. I'm getting close to the 2-year mark. And it's interesting the expectations that I had versus the reality of what's going on right now. I don't want to scare people, but at the same time I want to sort of help people understand the reality of the recovery process. And there's a difference between recovering from being on these drugs for a few months, tapering over several months, and then being off. There's a difference between people who have cold turkeyed a few times. There's a difference with people who have been polydrugged, people who have been floxed on a quinolone antibiotic, people who've cold turkeyed more than once or more. There's a difference between people who are in their 20s and people who, like myself, I'm almost 38. It's more complicated to recover. It seems for women who have had babies, that for some reason seems to be a complicating factor. There's a lot of variables when it comes to recovery time and sensitivity and the process itself. And so I don't want people who have a more complex story, such as my own, to compare themselves to people who are younger, who maybe don't have similar health problems, haven't been polydrugged, haven't cold turkeyed. Everybody's story is different. And even then, you just may be one of the unlucky people who's super sensitive for whatever reason. But I just want you to know that even though I try to focus on the positive, I'm still not living the life that I lived before. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I still deal with basically chronic fatigue, chronic pain. I have a lot of lower back pain. I'm just super sensitive. And there's a certain equilibrium that I have to maintain in my life in order to be able to function normally. And I have to be extremely careful what I eat. I did something yesterday that I never, ever do. I ate a totally sugar-laden, grain, processed with additives and dyes and stuff type cereal. I had 2 bowls of cereal with milk last night, and I'm feeling it today. I'm swollen, and my hands are swollen. If I take a supplement and it doesn't work well with me, I get insomnia. If I push it too hard, I work out too hard, I get inflammation, really bad inflammation, again, swelling, but I'll get almost more like, it's like a sinus infection. My eyes and my throat will get irritated, so I can't do much more these days than just very light kind of aerobic exercise, which stinks because I was totally into fitness before this. I loved working out. I was super strong. I lifted weights, and yeah. No, I don't do that anymore. I have to live my life accepting that I have some limitations right now. I have to do things at a very, very slow pace, take things throughout the day, just one task to the next. And it's not like in this state of misery and, this sucks. I just have to sort of plug along and do things and live my life at a different pace than I used to live it. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that because I'm not in benzo hell. So I remember what that was like, and I'm not there. That's not to say that I don't still have bad days. Most of the time, I don't have bad days. I have like bad hours. I'll wake up in the morning, and I'll have a rough morning, and then that passes, and I'm okay. Or I'll be going along in the morning, and then it'll just hit me all of a sudden in the afternoon, and I gotta rest and take it easy. But usually, if I do have a bad day, it's always because of insomnia. And as I mentioned before, I get insomnia for very specific reasons, because I'm not being careful, because I push it too hard, or I'm doing things too late at night, I exercise too hard, yeah. So, and in a way that can be frustrating, because nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. I mean, I know my name here is Little Miss Perfect, but that's not the reality. The reality is, we mess up, we cheat, we catch colds. I've just been sick for like the last 3 months. I've had a rough 3 months, and which is ironic because the winter before, when I had finished my taper, I did really well. I was doing great. This winter was actually more difficult for me because I caught a virus and ended up getting on an antibiotic a couple times, taking cold medication, and I was reeling from that. I was not functioning very well, and I homeschool my son, which makes that even more difficult. And my daughter goes to school, so I mean, there were lots of mornings this winter where I'm like, honey, you've got to drive our daughter to school because I can't even do it. I haven't slept for 2 days, and I can barely even function, much less drive her and homeschool my son. So there are definitely times like that, and I don't get discouraged if that happens. But do what you can. Implement the things in your life that you can to minimize that as much as possible. I would say besides having those rough days, first of all, I am capable of making plans now. I feel like I'm kind of finally to this point in my life where I can say, okay, yes, I can commit to that, or okay, yeah, let's make plans, or okay, let's sign my kid up for this, because even if I'm kind of having a little bit of a rough time, I know I can muscle my way through it. Even if I'm having a bad few days, I know it's temporary. I know it's only going to be a few days, and then things will improve. So I am getting back into life. The hardest part of getting back into living a normal life, I would say, is socially, because in my community, I have a lot of great people who really were there for me and helped me through this process. But there's also a lot of people who don't know what to do with me right now. They didn't really know me that well before this started happening, and they're just kind of used to me not being present, and now I am, and they don't even know how to take me, I guess. It's hard to explain, but I'm having to find my place back in the scheme of things socially. Even within my family, there are still times where my husband will be like, you need to do this, or you got to do this, that, and I say, I know, I got this. I'm good. Go on, take care of what you got to do. I got this. So you have to kind of assert yourself, but with gratitude, because, I mean, those are the people who help to get you through this. So it's just something we got to work out, and that's okay. But I did have to step down from the nonprofit because, for those of you who don't know, the nonprofit is Benzodiazepine Information Coalition. There's a website, benzoinfo.com. Just because with my own limitations that I was already dealing with, I could not deal with that and my son who had become disabled and homeschooling him and just the stress. That was just too much, and so I had to back off from that, which was really painful, but I did. And I guess overall what I'm trying to say is you're not going to be living the same life that you lived before, at least not for the first year or two, or I don't know, 3 of recovery, however long this takes me. Some people may, and yay for those people. They move on with their lives and they are good and they are gone. Yay for them. But for those of us who are still very sensitive, still dealing with chronic illness or in different ways, just plan on living your life at a different pace. Have different goals that you set for yourself. I mean, my main goal is to be a good mom every day and a good wife. And if I can accomplish that, that's good for me. And everything else on top of that is just gravy. And so, I hope I kind of covered everything that people want to know about what's going on right now. If you have any questions, ask them down below. And I'll be making another video here soon for you guys because I am still involved. I do still want to help people out there. I do still have love in my heart for you guys. My heart goes out to everyone right now who is going through this, and I haven't given up. I haven't quit. I'm just kind of taking a step back so I can focus more on trying to get back into my life and being a mom. But I'm still fighting for you guys, and you keep fighting too. Don't be afraid to speak out, even to one person. You never know whose life you might save just by speaking up about this, and that'll bring some purpose to what you're going through as well. I will say the one thing that has been difficult for me is that people still think that this is about addiction. I don't mind, in a sense, that addiction comes up, because there are a lot of people who have dealt with the addiction aspect of this who have found help in my story. There are people in my community who've come up to me and said, "Oh, you're so brave for speaking out about addiction," or whatever. And I'm like, "Oh, it's not that." But if it helps them to speak out, if it helps them to find the help they need, I'm glad for that. But there is a level of judgment that comes with that. And that is hard, because I didn't abuse these drugs. And I don't know how many times I can say that to people. I didn't abuse the drugs. I didn't take them recreationally. I didn't take even high amounts of the drug. I took what was considered a low dose. This is a damage to a central nervous system and illness. So there is that I am still kind of, I think, fighting to be understood. And that may lend to some of the awkwardness socially in trying to get back into my community and stuff like that. But I don't. It's just part of the process, and if there's anything that we learn in going through this, it's acceptance. Accept, and work with what you've got, right? And so I just want you guys to know that, that's the reality of this situation. Don't compare yourself. Don't compare yourself to this person or that person. Everybody's different, and it's okay. It's okay. You just accept it and you live your life as best you can. And I'm here for you guys. All right. I've got love for you all, and I wish you all the best. Bye.